jobs automated?
I think in India, labor is still fairly cheap, so it's not as big of an issue over there. But it might catch up. I think it's more of a developed country problem where labor is almost as expensive and sometimes robots are cheaper.
Almost every occupation, whether it's in developing or developed countries, will eventually change.
This is still the robots only doing part of the job and making the human about 100% more efficient.
那我现在关了啊。
Government and the private sector must be on ensuring that current and future workers.
直播了，不要播那边。
现在可以开始。
只有一个呀。
Okay, I'd like to explain to you. Just now the signal is not very good. Now we can see the two performers. The first one is the king of Namied Kingdom. This is my second time to come to Guangzhou. Now, they are invited to the Li Zhibei. So, why he was invited? Because at that time, Li Zhibei is a very famous tourism site. At that time, there are famous sites. If it comes for the first time, it's in the western city. It's a very good place for reception, and they have get on well with each other. And after the kingdom of Nami, the Namied Kingdom returned to the Han Dynasty, and they began to have better relations. Because of this story, and they have their relations become better, and they wear the Han clothes. It means that the country was united at that time. We can see that the embroidery there was also the traditional Han clothes, including the colors, their hats. They all have the characteristics of the Han Dynasty. You may drive the ship because at that we can still cannot see the picture very clearly. Okay, the hat she wears are traditional Han clothes. If they wear the clothes of that kingdom, the hats are not like this. For instance, their hats are called Pinggeng hat. And the rim of the hat is very big. If the hats are the Namied Kingdom hat, then the hat is used to hide the face of the king. We can see the Xiguan ladies. It is the tradition which can be traced back from the Qing dynasty, beginning of the Qing dynasty and the late Ming dynasty. It represented that the traditions of the Xiguan. Many of the children of the Xiguan's merchants have received higher education. We can judge from their clothes and their words that they receive very high education. In the 1920s and 1930s, they're very fashionable. We can see this. They can sing and play musical instruments, and they can attend. They're very comfortable with multiple activities. There is a middle school beside it. Today, the school's name has been changed to the Peiying Middle School, and the middle school has turned out many talents and famous celebrities. Yeah, Chen Jianjun received education there in 1950s, 1960s. Secretary Chen Wei also graduated from that school. So, in the past, they have they all received education there. The first female pilot also received education there. It's a very famous middle school. So, they have received very advanced education. Not only the 4 books and 5, not only the traditional classics. Also, they have received the advanced knowledge from the West. If it is the emperor of the Namied Kingdom, it seems that they are not accustomed to the traditions of the Han Dynasty. And recently, there is a play named 南越公子. At that time, she wore very neat clothes. Later, when the Namied Kingdom pledged allegiance to the Han Dynasty, the clothes and their appearance represented their status and their positions. So, what about the texture of their clothes? It seems that the major color is black, which represents the color of the emperor. Indeed, in Qing Dynasty and Han Dynasty, the major color of the emperor's clothes are black, mainly black, which represent luxury and royalty. In Qing Dynasty, the Qing Dynasty was located in the northern part. At that time, we believe that the color black is the treasure. At that time, between two kingdoms, the trade was carried out through ships, so it has a long tradition. Because the Namied Kingdom produced ships at that time, the latitude is very low, and they produce bronze, steel. But the Cantonese cannot and do not have the technology to produce the steel and bronze. And only later, in later times, they know how to produce these metals. So they lack the technology. That is why after they have pledged allegiance, Liu Bang and Liu Heng helped them to develop such technologies. And they have sent them many clothes, different kind of clothes. So the Namied Kingdom have began to exchange with the Han Dynasty, and their productivity has been significantly improved. And according to your comments, when the Nami Kingdom pledged allegiance to the Han Dynasty, the productivity was improved significantly. Yes, indeed. It's a breakthrough. At first, they did not know how to till the land. Nami Kingdom lack such kind of knowledge and technology. I'd like to ask you, because in the Minnan area, there are many rivers. So there are many bridges. But the rivers are not big. Sometimes you just have to use one stone to build a bridge. A huge stone is enough. It's not so... Building a bridge is not so easy. In the 1930s and 1950s, it is still not so easy to build a bridge. So at that time, ship is very important vehicle. So at the Delta River, the major transport means is through the ships. In Jiangwen and Dongguan and many areas in Guangdong, we use ships for transport. And we also use the ships for negotiation. And also at that time, the Nami Kingdom pledged allegiance without the broke out of the war between the Han Dynasty and the Nami Kingdom. And both parties have gone through a harmonious negotiation. Okay, we're going into a building of the typical Minnan area. So this is the rich person's houses. This is the hometown of the rivers. It's not like in the northern part of China, where the place is very dry. You can see many rivers here. There are lakes and small pools in houses. It means that the generations can be passed down. Where there are rivers, there are talents. Yes, this is a famous word. I've heard it very often. Because there is a commercial culture in Guangdong province. Wow, it's fantastic. Well, it's a typical Guangdong music. Our national leaders before the Cultural Revolution always wanted to go here. So the music means step higher, step and step higher. So when it comes to the festival, we will feel this the festivity of the atmosphere. I think the music is the most popular across China. So let's step onward. Yeah, the story is told. It's a harmonious negotiation because the Nami Kingdom, if he wants to pledge allegiance to the Han Dynasty, and the Han Dynasty will help them develop, and the Han Dynasty will send you gifts and funds for you to develop.
So the emperor is trying to send out Lu Gu as an envoy in order to make the Namied Kingdom pledge allegiance to the Han Dynasty. So Lu Gu has traveled a long distance to enter what is now Guangzhou province. He goes through Fujian province and Hunan province. And he also treaded water by taking the boats. And he walked a long distance from Xi'an to Luoyang, and then traveled to Guangxi province, and then traveled to Guangzhou by boat. And he was not allowed at first, and he was blocked out of the city. So he stayed out of the city for a while. That is not the way to treat an envoy, isn't it? And actually, he was treated quite well because the Namied Kingdom built a house for him outside of this city. And it was quite a decent house, but he was not allowed in a city, let alone living in the royal palace. But the Namied Kingdom built a house for him to live. Let's hear what the opera is trying to say. These are all Han customs. As you can see, these two people are talking to each other with a posture of kneeling. At the time, Lu Gu was only 40 years old, and the king of Niam died at the age of 103. The king was actually born in Hebei province. The Qing emperor sent him south to the Namied Kingdom to rule this area. So he was here as an envoy during the Qing Dynasty in the first place. But then Qing Dynasty was overturned, and he established himself as a king in this Guangdong area. And we also built the a temple to enshrine Lugu and other two renowned people here in the Guangdong province. They have made great contributions to the development of this area. The man named Zhao Tou also played an important role in the history of Namied Kingdom. He encouraged the soldiers to work with the local people and encouraged them to marry the local people in order to promote integration between different ethnic groups. And you can see that there is a difference when you're trying to express the meaning of no. In 普通话 it's 没有, and in Cantonese they call it 冇. Therefore, the Cantonese actually inherited a lot of pronunciations and language features of the ancient Chinese. It's actually more concise than Mandarin. The Lingnan area is a very typical representative of Guangzhou Asian culture. Okay, so can you introduce to us what is the essence of the local culture? So the Guangfu culture is a very big area, and this peak area is Ming Dynasty and Qing Dynasty. It has 10 county government. For example, the Guangzhou government, the Asian government of Guangzhou has 10 administrative areas under it. And it's a very inclusive culture. So a lot of people from central China and other places of China are welcomed here. Now we can see that on the stage there are more modern elements. We can see guitar and bass. So there is a very big change of style. This is the singer Xiguan, and he has this very unique personal style, a performance. Are you a fan of Xiguan Jie? Yes, of course. This is a song that is written in the 1970s. Let's take a minute to enjoy this song.
命里有的终须有，都相信命运。
这句词还挺火的，命里有时终须有，命里无时莫强求，
是吧？
很鸡汤的话。
对对。
As you can hear from the lyrics, it says, "What belongs to you will eventually be yours. Do not strive too hard for those that is not yours in the first place." So everybody should be at ease and cherish the present and cherish what you have. So this is the typical attitude of Guangdong people. Xiguan Jie is a big star in the 1980s. So Guangdong and Hong Kong are of the same origin, and there are a lot of similarities in culture and cuisines and customs. And a lot of people in Hong Kong were actually also big fan of Xiguan Jie. At that time, television started to become very popular, so that you can also hear his songs through the television. And he was indeed a big star at that time in Hong Kong as well as in the Guangdong area. At that time, the other places in China, especially the inner places, are still quite secluded, and however, the Guangdong area has already opened up. This is the theme song from the film 霍元甲. This is not Xiguan Jie's song. I've been spending many years in Guangdong province, so I can understand a little bit Cantonese. This is also a well-written song. Cantonese songs are quite down-to-earth, and it's very easy for people to relate to the rhythm, the melody, as well as the lyrics. Especially the lyrics. They are quite encouraging. And a lot of songs stayed or remained popular for as long as 50 years. They can still lift up people's spirit even today. This is a song about patriotism, talking about the Great Wall, the Yellow River, and the Yangtze River. It's a very typical Cantonese patriotic song. There are a lot of similar songs from the film Huang Fei Hong.
He said that Jinsha is a very strange place in Guangdong. This is a Hong Kong song from Hong Kong. Yet it has the touch of Hong Kong. It's very down to earth, especially the civilians along the streets. They always like to sing this kind of song. So at that time, in Hong Kong, the song is very popular. And you can hear there are English words in this song. Typically, very famous Hong Kong song in Hong Kong. This is the first time I hear this kind of song. This song is very down to earth. Yeah, indeed. The vendors in the market like to sing this song. It seems as if we can judge from the lyrics, they are mocking themselves, and the people living in the bottom are still eager for better lives. It seems we can judge from the lyrics that they are very optimistic, and so the lyrics means that you wake up, and at noontime, and you eat the brunch. And at the brunch, you may eat the shrimp dumplings. And after this song, I will interview that audience, that viewer. Because I can hear the applause behind. People are all applauding. Wow, they can all sing this song. All of them can follow. Maybe when they were young, they learned this song. Yeah, indeed, many of them can sing this song. At that time, the disco was first emerged. That lady, I think when she was young, she always liked she was the star of some fans, and she learned this song from at that time. Okay, let us interview that lady. Greetings, greetings. Just now we've seen you are very excited. Yeah, we've known this star for decades. Yeah, I think I can sing better than him. Can you sing some episodes? I think it's nostalgia. So, what is your favorite music or melody? Can you sing some lyrics? No. No. So the ladies and gentlemen are very shy. So here we can see the performance of the Xiguan ladies. These are the Xiguan ladies on the ships. Why do they have got the name Xiguan? I'd like to first explain Xiguan. Xiguan is the name of the city in the Republic of China period. At that time, we have the war, and the Xiguan is the political center, and at the western part of the city, it lasts until the western gate, till Xiguan area meanders from the western gate to the middle of the Guangzhou, and at that time it has the function of political administration. There are many famous merchants and political officials there, and especially at night, the gate was shut and they cannot enter the city center, so they all gather here, and so there are many entertainment here. So the Xiguan ladies grow up here, and they live in an atmosphere of the Western culture, so they're very open. They've broken the shackles of the families and the traditions, and they have the guts to pursue education abroad. In Dongshan area, there are so many traditional, political, and cultural bounds. So they felt much restricted. But in this area, there are many merchants, and people are eager for making money. And they receive many knowledge here, and there are many foreigners. They have to communicate with them. If you do not know the language, you have to find a translator, but translators are not so easy to be found, and so they learn the language themselves. So Xiguan lady is not a derogative name. Its meaning has not. It's not biased. It just means that in Xiguan area there's such a group of ladies. The meaning is neutral. There are famous celebrities, especially the ladies, who've grown up in the Xiguan. So you mean that many of the female heroes, the heroines, all grew up here. Of course, we cannot to make a conclusion so simply. So this is the god of the riches. When a new year comes, we can see many statues of the god of the riches. So, according to the tradition, we'll have the ceremony of welcoming the god of the riches at the end of the Chinese Lunar New Year. At the Chinese Lunar New Year, there are many shops and merchants will set up the statue of the god of the riches, and they will, in the ceremonies, they will allocate the red bags to the people there. We can see the performances of the performers. We know that the Liwanhu tourism site, there is a Xiguan Dawu. Xiguan, it's a museum, and we can have a sighting there. We can see the museum. Many people were listening. So, what's the direction? How to go there? Okay, I know. Wow, this song is very familiar to me. To treasure the present times. So where is it? It's so far away from here. Is it far? About 5 minutes. It's a typical Xiguan Dawu. The buildings are typical of Guangdong. It's very unique of Guangdong province in winter. In winter, it's very a typical building in winter. When it is warm, it should be opened to let the air in. It's traditional building. There are 2 rooms beside it. They have famous origins. So, what is the history of the Liwan Bay? Oh. But at that time, it is not big. In 5 dynasties and 10 countries period, this bay has many lychee trees, so it is called the Lychee Bay. So we know that lychee is the specialty of the Lingnan. So this lake is connected to that lake. This river is connected to that lake. It is a moat. At that time, there is a merchant there. He's very rich. He was the manager of the HSBC. He drove a ship and conducted trade. We got on the ship and we went to a house with 4 pillars. And that boat was narrow and small. There are on 2 sides of the rivers, there are banks. And the banks were green. Also, the lychee trees blossoms and the flowers are red. So here we can still see in Guangzhou city, there are so many green plants, though in winter times. So behind it, it is the Xiguan tomb. So what's the history of it? It was built at the end of the Qing Dynasty. It's about 1910. From the Southern Tang Dynasty to the Five Dynasties period, and in Qing Dynasty, by the middle of the Qing Dynasty, it reached the peak. It was the high time. It is called the You River in Cantonese.
So there are a lot of historical stories and origins of these customs. And it also demonstrates the traditional Guangfu culture in Guangdong province. This is a very beautiful ancient architecture. Of course, it's newly renovated. There is also the residence of a general. At the age of the Republic of China, yes, and there are also a lot of generals and famous soldiers and commanders during the revolutionary stage. A lot of them have old residence here. This is a temple called the Four-Faced Temple, which is originated from the Thailand. These architecture dates back to Qing and the Ming Dynasty. As you can see, some of the style of the structure and architecture is similar to that of Western architecture. So which is the typical Xiguan building or architecture? It's over there. This tree has a history of hundreds of years, and what's special about it that it grew on a piece of stone. This is the traditional Xiguan building or Xiguan house. And it's now a library. We are from CCTV and doing a live broadcast online. So can you give us an introduction of this Xiguan house? Okay, let's take a look. That's the main entrance. This is the side entrance, and you can see the back entrance over there. This is a well, and that's the god of dragons who is in charge of a water supply. So the god of dragon is right above this well. That's the main living room. And the wooden frames and closet and decorations are all original. you can rarely see this kind of decorations at the present. And this is the corner entrance. Because Guangdong's climate is very hot and humid, and if you close all the doors at night, it will be very uncomfortable. So at night, this corner door would be partly open. It allows better ventilation while also keeping thieves and unwanted guests outside. Here we also have a shrine to a shrine for the god of entrances that guards the doors for this owner of the house. This is the main entrance. This is the main living room. This is where the host would greet his guests. And you can also see some decorations here. There are vases. Guangdong people, as I know, love the flowers. They would go to the flowers market, especially during the Spring Festival. And behind this living room is the main bedroom. So that's the ancient style of toilet. This is a very beautiful bed. The design of the window is quite impressive. As you can see, it also allows very good ventilation and lighting. And that's the dining room. And also the back door. You can just open the back door and exit this house into another street. This is where the cabinet where the house owner would keep tea leaves and cups. You can consider this the ancient style of suitcases. And actually, some people would use it. Some vendors would use it to sell wontons and other snacks on the street. Okay, let's go upstairs to check out what's over there. So how much does it cost to build a house like this? I would consider that this is the residence of quite a well-off family, right? Yeah. That's the skylight window, and it's designed for better ventilation and lightings. And it's constituted of seashells. As you can see, the rope is for the manipulation of these windows of the skylight. You can just pull the string and then the skylight would open or close. So whenever there's rain, the owner of the house will rush here to pull the string and close the skylight to prevent the rain from falling inside. This is the room for the daughter of the house. She can peek outside, but other people cannot look in what's inside. This is protection to the lady of the house, also known as the Xiguan lady. As you can see, the beams, there are many beams, and also the windows are of a special design. It's called the manchu window. And of course, it's from the Qing Dynasty, when the Manchu rules the entire country. And it's very beautiful, as you can see. Okay, let's go down from this stairs. Okay, now we enter the balcony, and that's the study. And this is the side living room. Sometimes you can host your acquaintances and friends here. I think this is a very compact structure, right? And it's also very pragmatic. It's not a very big house, actually, and it's very well preserved. These windows are not open very often in order to better preserve the inner decorations. And this is the balcony. You can have a sip of tea or wine here. It's very enjoyable. Today we heard a lot about the customs, the local customs, and also took a tour in the Xiguan house. We've learned a lot from you, Mr. Cai, and that's all for today's live broadcast. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Mr. Cai. Say goodbye to our viewers. We usually say bye-bye when we are saying farewell to the viewers. Goodbye.